1982 is often viewed as the crowning year in open space acquisition in Littleton. Almost 300 acres of land were acquired along the South Platte River, and combined with 318 acres purchased in the prior 9 years, resulted in what we now know as South Platte Park. How 2010 is remembered in terms of open space acquisition remains to be seen, but there is little doubt that years of negotiations came to fruition this year, culminating in several very important open space purchases. The Oxbow property was the first open space acquisition along the South Platte River, funded with South Platte Greenway Legacy funds. Along the east side of the river, north of Bellevue Avenue, the site will be transformed from a former storage area for a landscaping business into open space and wildlife habitat. The Lee Gulch property is about 6 acres on the south side of Lee Gulch, between South Santa Fe Drive and the South Platte River. The site is the original location of a large residence. The building has been removed, and the site has outstanding views to the west and much-needed trailhead access to Lee Gulch and the Mary Carter Greenway. The Murray property is a little more than 5 acres and is on the west side of South Santa Fe Drive, just north of Shenango Avenue. For many years, there was auto repair and storage on the site. This open space acquisition is adjacent to the Big Dry Creek Trail with easy access to the Mary Carter Greenway. The original residence will remain for 3 years before being removed. All other buildings will be demolished later this year. The site will be used for open space and passive recreation. The Big Dry Creek Trailhead is about 3 acres in the vicinity of East Powers Avenue and South Washington Street in northeast Littleton. Originally planned for 6 home sites, the property will be used as trailhead access to the Big Dry Creek pedestrian bicycle trail. The Enser property has been a long time coming. Following many years of negotiations and difficult acquisition procedures, the city purchased 7.8 acres on the east side of the river, south of Mineral Avenue. The site of a former turf farm and owned by the Enser family for more than 5 decades, this will be a significant addition to South Platte Park. Identifying the properties and negotiating to purchase them is only half the battle. How to pay for them can be challenging. But the City of Littleton, Great Outdoors Colorado, Arapahoe County, South Suburban Parks and Recreation, the South Metro Land Conservancy, and the Trust for Public Lands have all partnered to acquire key properties for open space. Arapahoe County Commissioner Susan Beckman spearheaded the creation of the South Platte Working Group, bringing together representatives from many entities in Arapahoe County.
The South Platte River Corridor Working Group was the template for what we're doing in the rest of the county, bringing representatives together and competing for the legacy grant at the Greater Outdoors Colorado. Arapahoe County put $3 million into the effort, and we won the $5.25 million legacy grant, and we've also been able to use sharebacks from the cities. We've done some remarkable things. The Greenway Legacy Project identified 20 projects along the South Platte River corridor and also connecting of trails to our communities on the eastern side. And we have had great success in connecting trails, buying some additional buffers, increasing the ability to have access to the river. It's just really been a good thing for this area. In 2003, the Arapahoe County taxpayers very generously approved a sales tax of 1/4 cent on a dollar for every dollar to purchase open space, connect trails, and provide recreational opportunities. It currently is going to sunset in 2013. We're looking at a master plan and looking to go to the voters in the next couple of years along with our cities.
Littleton City Council member Debbie Brinkman has been a staunch advocate for open space. As an avid user and strong supporter of open space and trails, Brinkman represents Littleton on the South Platte Working Group.
The benefits from the Arapahoe County open space tax for Littleton have been enormous. In fact, we have been the recipient of about $2.3 million in shareback money, and we've been able to leverage about $1.7 million of that into $7.7 million worth of land acquisitions. I don't think that the size of any of the projects that we've completed would have been possible without the shareback money. Buying land is a really big undertaking, and one of the things that we do is we work with willing landowners. If they are not willing, then we move on to other properties. And we're looking for properties that are distressed, properties that are going to complement the acquisitions that we've already made out here, and to add to connectivity and just the overall feel. We've been very fortunate to have great relationships with funding partners, great relationships with property owners, great relationships with communities that abut some of the properties that we purchase. What it really comes down to is it comes down to a shared vision. I think that when you look at the city and you see the beautiful parks and you see the beautiful natural areas and you see the community support for that, it is setting an example for not only the metro area, but for many of the communities across the country.
Never content to rest on its laurels, Littleton, led for decades by City Manager Jim Woods and Public Services Director Charlie Bloston, has continued to preserve the open space environment that contributes so much to Littleton's quality of life. At the 2010 Open Space Shareback Ceremony, Littleton received more than $767,000 from the open space tax, based on the city's population. In addition, Bloston accepted a check for $233,000 in the form of a grant for the Slaughterhouse Gulch Trail Link Phase 1. The city will match the grant with $129,000 to build a trail that showcases a hidden open space gem.
I'm involved with this incredible project to create a walking path adjacent to the historic city ditch. We're going to call it the Littleton Community Trail. This ditch, as it's shown right now, is exactly the same as it was in 1860, 150 years ago. Nothing has changed. Isn't this an incredible opportunity to save what is got to be the most historic structure, the most historic thing in all of Littleton and in Englewood and South Denver? This is a cool project. Our goal is to build a pedestrian trail alongside it for 1.5 miles from Lee Gulch on the south up towards Cornerstone Park on the north. We're going to parallel the city ditch and cross it a couple of times. Our goal is to create an historic walking path reminiscent of the 1860s. In all the years I worked for Littleton, this project is the most fun and exciting thing I've ever done.
Collaboration and a regional vision have been key to these major open space purchases. Generations of Littleton residents will benefit from enhanced connectivity to recreation trails, improved wildlife habitat, and access to passive outdoor recreation.